Ain't nothing to it but to do it. Spooky Sunday dinners, spooky Sunday dinners, spooky Sunday dinners. I still can't afford a theme song. Hey guys, for those of you that don't know, my name is Johnny Taylor and this is Spooky Sunday Dinners, where every Sunday, every other Sunday, sometimes Monday, whenever it happens, we talk about a true crime case that I just really want to talk about while we make a fairly easy recipe. So if true crime, cooking, and dark humor is your thing, you might want to hit that subscribe button below. Hi friends, we're back. We're late, but actually that's your fault. Just to be totally honest, I had a whole different episode planned for this week. It's a fan favorite that I've gotten a bunch of messages on doing. And I started writing the episode, but that's when I found out you guys are dark as hell. I'm serious, are you okay? I literally couldn't say any of that on YouTube. So I actually had to do the next story a couple weeks early, so we're here. It's Monday. It's also the 4th of July. But all that matters is we're back, it's happening. Let's just get into it because this week's story is a little bit crazy, still very dark, but stick with me. This week we are going to be talking about the first school shooting, aka the Cleveland Elementary School shooting, aka I Don't Like Mondays, aka the story of Brenda Spencer. While we make my new favorite thing to make ever, a totally vegan, super easy, play as you go mac and cheese. This really is play as you go. I don't have a single measurement for this, so we're going through it together. We know what we're talking about and what we're making, which can only mean one thing. It's Karen disclaimer time. Hi Karen. I don't even care anymore. Karen disclaimer number 1. These are not professional recipes. I don't have the nutritional facts and they're not really for nutritional value. It's just what I feel like making that day. If you make this and you mess up and you don't like it or you get sick, it's not my fault. These are barely mediocre recipes. Again, not professional. Karen disclaimer number 2. This is Spooky Sunday Dinners. Emphasis on spooky. We talk about true crime, murder, disease, and all things messed up, while we sprinkle a nice little bit of comedy on top. That's how I deal with being obsessed with something so very dark. If that offends you in any way, shape, or form, make sure you want to pick up a phone to call, text, DM, write me a letter at this point telling me how horrible of a person I am. You know I don't care. One day I won't have to do those. It'll be an amazing day. As usual, I'm going to go over ingredients with you. They will always be listed in the description below. This is just so you don't get mad at me. First thing you're going to need is any pasta of choice. I know most people like to make this with elbows. I have some eggless egg noodles left over that I'm going to be using. It doesn't matter. Pasta is pasta. Some almond milk and vegan butter. I'm going to use what I always use, the soy-free Earth Balance. A lot of queso. I have found that for this one, I like to use 3. I'm gonna go in with the Violife Cheddar shreds, the Violife Colbyjack shreds, and the Violife Mozzarella shreds. I think there's a difference if you use 3. I don't know, use 2 and prove me wrong. Some lemon. Citrus is going to make this. You just gotta roll with me on this one. Trust me, it's gonna work out. And finally, our seasonings. Today we're gonna be going in with salt, pepper, garlic powder, chili powder, and some smoked paprika. All right, I went ahead and boiled my noodles off camera because I know that you know how to boil noodles. I can't help you if you don't. Call someone. So we're really going to be focusing on the sauce and baking this mac and cheese. Now, like I said earlier, I don't have any measurements. I made this one night and absolutely don't remember how it was done. I just happened to remember the ingredients. But we're gonna go on this journey together and we're gonna start with a half cup of everything and then work our way up from there. I would suggest you do the same. This way you can make the sauce as thick or as watery, as creamy as you like. So really I'm helping you here if you think about it. I've got my cast iron enamel pot on medium heat. I'm gonna go ahead in with a half cup of our milk, a half cup of our butter, and our cheeses and just start melting everything together. Alright guys, so on January 29th of 1979, someone across the street from Grover Cleveland Elementary School opens fire on the children. Now, they open fire on the children who are waiting for the principal outside to open up the gates in the morning. This mysterious person in the home that's pretty much like directly across the street goes ahead and starts shooting, and that is when Principal Burton Ragg opens up the gate and starts trying to get the kids to safety. Unfortunately, in that moment, Principal Ragg is shot and killed. That is when a custodian, Mike Suture, runs out and is also attempting to pull kids to safety and get Principal Ragg's body away because he thinks that he might still be alive. Unfortunately, the custodian is also shot and killed. In this process, 8 children are injured pretty severely, and that is when a police officer by the name of Robert Robb shows up to the scene. It is believed that it was Robert who actually commandeered a garbage truck and drove it in front of the school, blocking the shooters, like any sight they had and any access they had to the children. Officer Robb was shot in the neck, and there are conflicting stories where it said that it was actually different officers on the scene that commandeered that garbage truck, but all stories at this point are conflicting because there was a lot of chaos happening. So after firing about 30 rounds, the shooter then barricades themselves in that home across the street. I'm gonna go ahead in with another half cup of milk and butter. Now, a reporter from a local newspaper decides that they have the brilliant idea to check the phone book or whatever and actually call the number that's associated with that address that they figured out the shots were being fired from. Now, this was after several hours of whoever this person was being barricaded in this home. They do pick up the phone, and it's actually 16-year-old Brenda Spencer. The reporter is like, who is shooting up the school? Like, what is going on? And of course, Brenda is like, girl, me. And then when the reporter asks, why is this happening? Why are you doing this? That's when the famous quote, Brenda Spencer says, "I don't like Mondays. This livens up the day." All right, guys, now I'm gonna start packing cheese in this, a half cup of each of our 3 cheeses. Now, throughout this process, Brenda actually tells police negotiators that she shot those people outside of the school because they were, quote, easy targets at the time. She at first also said that she was going to come out of the house shooting, but after some time and negotiators actually allegedly promising her Burger King, she ends up surrendering and coming out of the house. Alright guys, as our cheese is melting, we're going to go ahead in and season to taste with all of our seasonings and add the juice from about half a lemon. Now, I just want to reiterate that this recipe is really to taste. Everyone likes their mac and cheese different. I like mine with a lot of chili powder and paprika, but other people don't. So be sure to really taste as you go. We want this sauce to get thick and creamy, and we don't want anybody to believe that this shit is vegan. As this starts bubbling and thickening up, we can go ahead and add in more cheese and just continue melting that cheese, making it creamy, and fooling our families into eating vegan. Also, I use Violife because I've found that that's the easiest to melt and be the closest consistency to real cheese. But this episode is also a week late because I couldn't find it at any of my grocery stores, so... Alright guys, now as the cheese is melting, we should start to get this nice thick consistency, and it should really just feel like a real mac and cheese sauce. We don't want any chunks or lumps or weird cardboard cheese pieces in there. Alright guys, now once we have our cheese sauce seasoned to our liking, we're going to go ahead and reduce that heat as low as possible. Just kind of let it simmer for about 3 minutes before we put it all together to bake. Now, once police got into the home of Brenda Spencer, they did find a bunch of beer and whiskey bottles all over the home. But they did say that Brenda did not appear to be intoxicated in any way. This led them to really look into her home life, and they did find out that her father was an alcoholic. But we'll get into him more later. Brenda was tried as an adult, and she actually pled guilty to 2 counts of murder and assault with a deadly weapon. The day after her 18th birthday, she was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. Our sauce is ready. Now, I do want to say I'm just making a very small batch of this. It's very rich, but I'm the only non-dairy hoe in this house. Feel free to, again, go a half a cup at a time more if you want to make a big one. All we're gonna do now is throw our noodles in here and then our cheese mixture and mix it all up. Now that we've mixed it up, I'm gonna go in with those Colbyjack shreds and just put a nice layer on top to finish it. I've preheated my oven to 350 and we're gonna pop it in there covered with foil for the first 30 minutes. And this is what your vegan mac and cheese should look like before we pop it into the oven. We've mixed it well and added a nice layer of our Colbyjack cheese on top. We're just gonna be sure to cover it with foil for the first 30 minutes. So about 14 years into her sentence, Brenda went and did like a weird TV interview where she actually talked about what happened on that day. Brenda stated that she was under the influence of whiskey, pot, and angel dust, aka PCP. This girl is hardcore. But also at the time of her arrest, her like drug test, toxicology situation showed that she was stone sober. She also did say that her dad was an alcoholic, which was proven, but also that he severely physically and sexually abused her. Most people thought those abuse allegations were false, but I do want to say that her mother and father separated shortly before this incident, and while her and her father were living in like total poverty, he actually forced the both of them to sleep on a single mattress together in the living room. That doesn't sit right with me. So, also, when she was at one of her juvenile facilities throughout all of this, her father ended up meeting a girl that was actually younger than Brenda but looked exactly like her, and they engaged in a sexual relationship and did go on to get married one day. It is not looking good for this father. Unfortunately, nothing was ever proven, and they kind of dropped that whole story. Also, while in custody, Brenda was diagnosed with epilepsy and was properly treated for it for the first time ever. They also actually found that she had an old head injury. It actually was an injury to her temporal lobe that happened on an old bicycle accident, which is more just like random. But they also said that that had nothing to do with the attack as well. Looking into her past, they did find out that she was kind of sassy, she hated police, and had an obsession with Alice Cooper. But like same, so. What is very interesting is we found out about a month before the shooting, a psych eval was done on Brenda. And they found out that she was suffering from some pretty severe depression and actually recommended that she be taken to a psychiatric hospital. Her father ended up refusing to give permission for this. And that same Christmas, just like a month before this incident happened, her father actually gifted her a Ruger 1022 semi-automatic 22 caliber rifle. It included a telescope sight and 500 rounds of ammo. You guessed it, this is the gun that was used in the shooting. Remember when I said I didn't like her dad? Men. I'd also like to let you know that that Christmas she actually asked for a radio, so. When questioned about the gun that she received for Christmas, she said that it felt like her dad wanted her to kill herself. Roses are red, Doritos are savory. U.S. prison system is legalized slavery. All right guys, so our first 30 minutes is up. All we're gonna do now is take the foil off the top and continue baking it at 350 for about 10-ish more minutes. Ravioli, ravioli, give me the formuoli. So after many failed parole hearings, which some of them, it was like she had self-harm issues, she had a girlfriend in jail that she was obsessed with, she brought back the sexual assault stuff, it was a big mess. There were a bunch of these parole hearings. Brenda Spencer is actually still in prison at the California Institution for Women. She did go on record to say that she feels partially responsible for every school shooting that happens. And she always says that she wonders if she inspired them or if they were trying to copy what she did. And of course, there's the song I Hate Mondays by the Boomtown Rats, written by Bob Geldof and Johnny Fingers. So if you haven't heard it, go listen to it. They were actually in San Diego where this happened, for those of you wondering. Not Cleveland, Ohio, because people say that for some reason. But anyway, they were in San Diego performing at this time, and like she was all over the news for like 2 years straight. So it was always like the I Hate Mondays girl. So they wrote this song. Pop culture. All right guys, that last 10 minutes is done and our mac and cheese is officially ready. But I really want to know what you guys think about this story. Like, did you know about it? Did you know that this was what I Hate Mondays was about? Most people know about I Hate Mondays, but don't always know it was a school shooting. So I'm curious. All right guys, and here's our finished product. It's our delicious, creamy, totally vegan, homemade mac and cheese. All right guys, let's plate it and try it. Here's what she looks like. You can't go wrong. You could literally put any amount of those ingredients in this and you can't go wrong. Make this. Trick somebody. Throw some breadcrumbs on it. I did it again. Thank you guys so much for cooking with me this week, and thanks for letting me tell you this insane, crazy story. Be sure to comment below future crimes you want me to cover and some recipes you want me to try. Thank you for watching Spooky Sunday Dinners. I am still singing. Still can't afford a theme song. I just burnt my tongue so badly on this, I can't feel it. Also, did you guys get the joke of like, I don't like Mondays? This video is coming out on Monday. You're welcome.